What is going on, guys? This is Crozin, and welcome to a special build that I've been working on for a while. And I don't even really know what to call this. I'm just going to call this the Shove and Throw Galore build. And it's basically that. It's just a build where you're mainly going to be shoving and throwing people and throwing weapons at people. And yeah, the possibilities are just endless. You can shove someone to their death. You could throw someone to their death. You could throw someone into someone else into their death. You could throw a barrel at someone that leads to their death. And the main one, you could throw your weapon at someone and that'll lead to their death. So yeah, those are just some possibilities, and I know this isn't the first shove and throw build out there, and it won't be the last, but I think mine is pretty unique. The way that I designed mine, I went into 3 different classes. And I don't think I've ever seen someone use this exact setup that I'm going to show you guys. It just gives you so much versatility. Not only will you be able to use any weapon that you want to throw with, but you'll also be able to use sneak attacks on your throwing weapons. You'll be able to have a high armor class. You'll be able to have a lot of utility spells that you can use in and out of combat, including the shield spell, which you can use as a reaction, which makes you basically immune to any damage for that turn. And between all of those things, it's just crazy with the amount of attacks that you can actually get per turn. With this build, you could get 4 attacks per turn, 6 if you include the action surge. And yeah, it's just insane. And yeah, let's show you guys some stats. So these are the default ability points that they give you for a Barbarian, and that is the first class that we are going to branch into. And these ability points aren't that bad, but there are too many odd numbers here, and we gotta lower some things and raise others. So the first thing we're gonna do is lower our wisdom down to 8, and that way we're gonna be able to put 1 in constitution and another one in dexterity. That way all of our numbers here are even except for strength, and we're gonna bump that up with our feats. And for our skill proficiencies, it's pretty simple here. We need a lot of athletics, so you definitely want to go for athletics, and intimidation just feels right for a barbarian. So you are going to want to keep leveling up a barbarian all the way up to level 5. So at level 3, this is where you get to pick your first subclass, and what we want to do is we want to go into berserker and then just keep going out into level 4, which is where we get to select our first feat. And for this, we are going to go with Tavern Brawler, and we're going to put that extra point into strength. That way we have a nice little even number here with strength. And then we get to level 5, and the main reason why you want to go to Barbarian level 5 first is because you get the extra attack, and then you get a nice little mini bonus with fast movement, which I don't think the other classes give this with their extra attack. Once we reach level 6, this is where we need to go and branch off into a different class. And you have 2 different routes that you can take here. You could either go for 4 straight points into fighter, or you could go for 4 straight points into rogue. The main reason we want to do 4 straight points into either one of these classes is because we're going to get that additional feat at level 9. So it's really personal choice. If you want to have any kind of weapon that you could throw and it'll return back to you, and you want that ability as early as possible, simply because maybe you don't have a returning weapon, or you just want to have more versatility, you could maybe go with fighter here. Or if you just want that extra bonus action and the sneak attack damage as quickly as possible, then rogue is your better choice. In my opinion, if you are leveling with this build and you already have a returning weapon, it would make sense to maybe go with rogue here. So you would go with rogue all the way up to level 9. However, fighter 4 will give you more than rogue 4. So if you're making this build, you're leveling up, you probably want to stick to rogue here. Now, if you're level 12 and you're respecting to try to go into this build, then you want to go with 4 points into fighter and only 3 points into rogue. So the way I'm going to show it to you guys, I'm going to show it to you as if we are leveling up and, you know, we're level 6, and I would go with rogue here. If you have a returning weapon, go with rogue, and we need to change our skill proficiencies. So what we want to do here is we want to just use this one in persuasion. And then for the skills with expertise, We got to stack athletics here, and then we're also going to go with intimidation. So now we are at level 8, and this is our third straight point into Rogue, so that way we could get the Thief subclass, and this will unlock an additional bonus action, which is huge for us. And so you want to keep going here if you're leveling up. Go one more into Rogue. You're not really going to get much here other than the feat. That's the main reason why we go one extra point into Rogue, and you want to put that in ability improvements, and you want to get your strength up to 20. So now we are done with Rogue. We're level 10. We got 4 points in Rogue, 5 points in Barbarian. What we want to do here is we want to branch out and we want to go into Fighter. Now for the fighting style, we want to make this character pretty tanky, pretty beefy. So we're going to go with Defense. That's going to give us a +1 bonus to Armor class while we are wearing armor. If you decide that you don't want to wear armor with this, then you could actually go for Great Weapon Fighting. But I'm going to wear armor. I suggest you guys to wear armor as well. So we're going to go with Defense. So we're going to keep leveling this up. The second level here is mainly to get the Action Surge. And this is going to allow you to attack 2 more times per turn whenever you use this thing for a maximum of 6 with this build. And then we're going to go one more into Fighter, which will be at level 12. And this is where you can select an additional subclass. What we're going to do is we're going to go with the Eldritch Knight. And the main reason we're going to go with this is because it gives you Weapon Bond. So you can basically bind any weapon. Doesn't have to be a throwing weapon. It could be any weapon, although I recommend it to be a throwing weapon because throwing weapons will do more damage when you throw them. But you could bind any weapon and you could throw it and it'll come back to you. And then you could throw it again, it'll come back to you, and so forth. So this is really important. It just really opens up the amount of weapons that you can use with this build. You're not just stuck to one weapon or, one throwing weapon that returns back to you that has that ability on it. You could use any weapon with this build by the time you're level 12. So now we get some additional cantrips and spells, and we're going to go with cantrips that can be used outside of combat, because when we enrage, we're not going to be able to use spells anyway. So we want to go with Minor Illusion and also Friends. This will give you some advantages against charisma checks, and then also you have this pretty cool little illusion which you can use near like a cliff or something. You could get enemies to go out and investigate that and push them off the edge. There's some cool things you could do with this, so I'd recommend these two. And then for the spells, you want to go with Shield. Shield is going to be the most important spell that you have here. You can use this while you are in combat as a reaction, and it'll increase your armor class by 5, make you basically invincible for the rest of the turn. And with the amount of spell slots that we're going to have with this, which will be 3, if you go for respeccing your character at level 12 and getting Fighter 4, then that's basically 3 times that you can use this per fight. So if it's like a boss fight, you're basically invincible for 3 turns. So I definitely recommend you guys to get this one. And then also Thunder Wave. I feel like this just fits the vibe. We're pushing and shoving. Might as well have Thunder Wave. For the expanded slot, a really good one is Enhanced Leap. We can use this before a fight. It doesn't use a spell slot, and it'll basically triple our jumping distance. Or we could use this in the fight before we enrage, and it'll also still work. So really good spell here. And yeah, you guys are really going to enjoy the amount of versatility that this build has. So now I just want to show you guys some gear setups so that way you can bring this build to life. And the main thing that you need is a weapon that every time you throw it, it'll come back to your hand after it's thrown. And there's only a few weapons like this in the game. I'm using Nirulna since this is going to be a really good weapon for damage because it has a nice AoE explosion. Unfortunately, it can also hit your allies, so that's why it's always good to have a nice variety of weapons and don't just stick with one weapon. So there's also another good one called Dwarven Thrower that you can get in Act 3, and this weapon will return to you every time it's thrown as well. And if you're a dwarf, this weapon is really good. So if you're a dwarf, I recommend to use this one. But there's also one that you get really early in the game that you can buy from the Goblin vendor at the Goblin camp. Unfortunately, I don't have it to show for you guys, but It's called the returning pike, and that's the one you're going to use early on in the game. So you want to get that as early as possible, because that is going to give you a weapon that you can throw and come back to your main hand, and you're going to be using that for a good portion of this game. So definitely want to get that. And then there's also some really good gloves that you can get in Act 1 called Gloves of Uninhibited Kashigo. And these will give you additional 1d4 damage with throw attacks and attacks made with improvised weapons. There's also a ring that does something similar that you can buy at the Druid Grove right at the beginning of the game. I don't have that to show for you guys, but that's also a really good ring that I recommend you guys to get. And then also shields. Shields are really good for this build because most of these throwing weapons are versatile weapons. So you can actually put a shield on just for the benefit of having a higher armor class with really no downside. So the throwing damage isn't going to be affected by having the shield. You might as well have a shield on. It gives you a really high armor class and just makes you that much harder to hit. And then the final thing that I want to tell you guys is that with the Weapon Bond class action, because we do have the Eldritch Knight subclass, we have this ability, and you're going to get this later on in the game depending on which route you take. If you want to go for the fighter class second, or if you want to go for it last, and then you won't get this until level 12 at that point. But you can actually put this on any weapon. Let's say for instance Lightning Jabber. This is a really good throwing weapon. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the ability to come back to you every time you throw it. But you equip it, put on Weapon Bond, and now every time that you throw this weapon, it'll come right back to you. Right back into your main hand. So you could do this with all different types of weapons. You could even put it on like a really heavy weapon, like the very heavy Great Axe, 9 weight, something that's going to give you like some crazy crushing damage. You could put it on that and only use it whenever you're on really high ground in order to get some good crushing damage. So there's all different kinds of setups that you can do here. You just got to have one of them. One of them that'll return back to you in your main hand, and you're basically set from there. So for the last portion of this video, I thought I would just show you guys a basic combat scenario as far as what I would do and how you would play this build. So we start out on turn 1, and as you can see, there's already 2 enemies that are lining up near this water. So you already know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go run over here, and let's shove this guy right into the ocean. And then let's go right over here. I think I maybe went just a little too far. And let's shove this chick in there as well. And so now we have 2 other attacks that we can do here. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm actually going to throw. And I'm going to throw my Dwarven Thrower and get a sneak attack off on this chick right here. And so now we got an extra attack, and for this one I think I'm going to go right over here, but rather than use the Dwarven Thrower, I'm going to go ahead and use this. That way I get a nice AoE attack here. So let's go ahead and throw that. And it hits all 4 of them. Wow. So I didn't think it'd hit this guy. So that's how I would do turn 1. I also wanted to show this to you guys because this is a really good spell with the Eldritch Knight, and it is shield. And as you guys can see, this guy's ready to hit me. I have the choice to react, and if I use shield, I'm basically immune because that gives me 5 extra armor class, and I think that'd be like 27 for my character, which is just nuts. So now we're on the next turn, and you guys already know what's coming for this guy. He chose a bad spot to be in by rushing for me. Now we're just going to throw him right off. And that's how we would handle that. So the next thing here is to go up to this. I don't even know what this is. I guess a pile of concrete blocks. And get the high ground. So now what we can do is we could finally frenzy and go for a sneak attack on one of these guys. So I'm going to go for probably just a normal throw for right now. We're going to go back to the Dwarven Thrower. And let's go for this guy. Oh yeah, and that guy just took a bunch of damage there. So now we have an extra bonus action. But what I think I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go right into Action Surge. And I'm going to get 2 more attacks before I use my Enraged Throw. So let's go right back into a throw. And we're going to go right back with the Dwarven Thrower. And let's just go ahead and hit this guy again. And let's go right back into it. And the damage is just crazy. I mean, if you guys think about this, continuous throwing, I mean, it just adds up after a while. So now we got another one. This person's kind of low. I think we could get him here pretty easily. So, I don't know why it's saying I'm too close. Let me actually move back. I think it's just a bug. So let me move over here. There we go. Let's take this guy out. And now there's only 1 archer left. Here we are on the final turn. And what I'm going to do for this guy is actually throw him into the ocean. And how are we going to do this? Because if you guys take a look, if I try to throw, there's no way I could reach that. I can only get to like right here. But what we can do is we can actually use improvised melee weapon, and we could actually smash this guy on this light post. So let's go ahead and do that. And now we could either shove this person or we could throw them right into the ocean. So I hope you guys enjoyed this build, and I hope you give it a try. I mean, it was a lot of fun to mess around with this build, and it took me quite a while to really come up with the right build that I thought would work in all cases. So even though this build, you know, it's not the conventional way to probably do a shove and throw build, I think it's a pretty unique way, and I think you guys will enjoy that, and I hope you guys give it a try. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.